recording audio through headset. Good. Hey. Good morning, my friends. How many times do I begin these episodes in song? I'm telling you. Sometimes you just got a spring in your step and a song in your heart, some iron in the fire. Today is one of those days. Kind of like last time. What was that, 2 days ago? Hey, I'll tell you one thing that we're going to do right now. We're going to get the episode number correct here on the podcast, which, by the way, this is right along with Run Man. I'm your host, Run Man. Why, you may ask yourself, do I name myself Run Man for the purposes of hosting this fine program that y'all's a part of? Well, here's why. We run. We run. Used to be we couldn't run so well. These days we run okay. If I run for a few hours, what'll happen is my hips and my knees will begin to ache. Then they'll begin to burn. Then they'll begin to grind like there's a bunch of glass and chalk all smushed up in those joints. And then, given time, my range of motion will decrease. So it's interesting. As the runs progress, hour by hour, my experience has typically been that it's almost like the runs age me temporarily, which is interesting. It's like I become more and more geriatric as the runs progress. Until by the time I get back home after let's say a marathon, everything is on fire, barely moving. And that's not every time, but that's been my experience. So the journey of this podcast is kind of about removing that, mitigating it if possible. Not completely, but somewhat. Boy, I'm going to find a way to keep this cord right where I want it. So help me. What if I do a little bit of rapping? That might help. We'll see. Hey, it's the intersection. Our favorite intersection. So how are y'all? You got your coffee in you? You got your 3 pounds of chicken breast in you? Holy moly. What's wrong with you? And raw, too. How could you? Jesus. Respect, I guess, but I'm worried. A little worried. All right. Well, that didn't work out at all. We're having serious vine encroachment problems. Oh, well, what are you going to do? Well, get up, make a podcast, enjoy a lovely day with the sky wreathed in clouds, but nothing quite overhead, as y'all might be able to tell. Oh, yeah. It's a good day. Got up at a good hour, and we're continuing to push the frontiers and the precedents of the practices, all of them. Yesterday, I thought was going to be a slow day for work. Ended up being an easy day that also happened to be a lucrative day for work. So that was very nice. I didn't expect that so much. Things looked a little grim coming up. It was a Sunday. I thought, we're going to be fiercely busy, and we weren't. And I was like, okay. But I only need so much business because I can only do so much business at once, possessing one body and one vehicle, as I do. Whew. Have not eaten today. Will not eat until 5 to 9. We'll see. Probably a little on the later side. Whew. Little micro fast, you know. And that's one way that I say Happy Monday to my body. It's like, hey, everything that you got on the backlog, let's just tick off a few of the items on the laundry list, and We'll get back to metabolizing and building structures out of new materials later. Just like any good quarry master. Heave ho, heave ho. What's that Tom Waits song? We don't know what we're all digging for. Hi ho. Dig, dig, dig the whole day through. Got to dig, dig, dig. It's what we got to do. It's a good song. That's off the album Bastards by the artist Tom Waits. Yeah. That album was a triplicate album, actually, because it was actually 3 CDs, 3 different themes that you got. Nope, it was 4. Orphans was one, Brawlers was the next one, Ballers was the next one, and Bastards was the last one. Bastards I found to be the quirkiest. I assume it's called that because it had to do with a lot of caregiver issues, but also maybe a lot of it's open sourced or doesn't, or Tom Waits came across some music that he wasn't able to like find who the original artist was for the cover that he did or the song that he found. That happens sometimes. NoFX did that with a song called All of Me. NoFX actually had a similar album to Tom Waits, although the genres are wildly different, if they could be said to be genres. And I think they could, to some extent. Tom Waits is pretty wildly eclectic, but NoFX is got a lot of punk going on, a lot of ska, a lot of raga. NoFX came across a song they didn't know what it was. So they covered it, they put it on the song, they put it on the album entitled 45 or 46 songs that weren't good enough to put on our regular albums, or something like that. Very good album. Lot of 30-second and 1-minute songs. One of the songs was called All of Me. That's a really good song. They didn't know who the artist was at the time that they covered it, apparently, so say the writings on the cover art, or the album art, that is, which was extensive for that album. A lot of collages and little bits of text and things. Regardless, this does happen with artists. You can only give credit so far as there's a trail you can easily follow, or follow a period. Kind of makes sense NoFX couldn't find All of Me, who the artist was. I forget who the original artist was, but I can tell you, at least I think, it was a blues woman. Powerful blues woman. Back in the dizzy. Or jazz. I could be conflating things. All I know is how it sounded. How All of Me sounded originally. It sounded good. Sounded morose and longing and lonely. Ugh. Kind of like that song. I gotta get the artist before I get the song on this one. I know this artist. Who is she? I can picture her. Damn. Well, if I remember correctly, I'll put it in the description of the song. But the title of the song that I'm thinking of, which has a similar vibe to All of Me, is, well, give me one sec. Whew, I've got to cover a couple more feet before we've got to pace ourselves here, right? This is, after all, not a sprint. This is a run cast. Damn. It's funny, I know a cover artist who covered the song that I'm thinking of. Georgia Weber covers the song that I'm thinking of. The song is called Tease Me. Oh my God. Okay, I have the option to drive myself crazy, grasping at straws, trying to uncover from the cobwebs the beautiful and awesome and talented artist who did that song, but hey, we'll get there. Anyway, we're digressing upon lofty little widgets of digression. Where are we, like third or fourth hand tributaries away from the subject matter that I originally broached music with? Tom Waits, No Effects, Georgia Weber, and All of Me, and Tease Me, and some covers are really, really damn good. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. To back it up to the No Effects place, Tom Waits may have done some cool covers, and he may have made some wonderful stuff that has been covered by others. Puddle's Pity Party covered Come On Up to the House. I think they did pretty good. The Walking Dead had a Tom Waits song cover that I enjoyed quite a bit. It was called Hold On, I believe. I used to really be into Hold On. Used to listen to that song all the time. It was just so comforting sounding. Yet the narrative that Tom Waits originally spun was also so sad. Anywho, I like original All of Me. If whatever I found deep into the night, the 2 or 3 times that I searched on YouTube for that were the original records, which I doubt, but who knows? When NoFX covered that song, I don't know who got a hold of it or who listened first. They might have heard it played live at a club or something first. I wonder. But anyway, when they covered it, they put it into their genre, which is far from the slow, goopy, molasses, jazzy, bluesy feel of the original. NoFX chose to punk it up. Really enjoyed the bass on that one. That's going to sound far worse on the playback, I can already tell. Short song, good song. Thank you, NoFX, because that's where I first found that song, and later became inspired to search the origins, only to forget most of what I learned. Yet still, too, in my little soul piece, I still have a little bit of that coolness from original All of Me. Gotta stop thinking about the name of the Tease Me girl. I'm not gonna find it until I stop looking for it, I promise you. If it's important, it'll come up. When it wants to come, it will come. Music, am I right? Anyway, I derive great pleasure from music. I think this might be the 3rd, 4th, 5th episode, maybe even in a row, that I've discussed music with y'all. Wonder what you're listening to right now. Maybe you've got some Led Zeppelin on. Maybe you've got a little Gogol Bordello on. Good band. Also punky. Perhaps, what's her name? Patsy Cline. Or Janis Joplin. Maybe you exclusively listen to electronic, fast-tempo beats, or EDM. Current events. I guess Lorde came out with a new album. Or a new song, anyway. I gotta check that out. I heard bad things from my delicious and fun and very vocally fried ladies on the interwebs on Akachian and Dasha Nekrasova. Shout out to the ladies. Shout out to the ladies of Red Scare Podcast. Y'all rock. I enjoy your material. Particularly with morning coffee. Anyway. Okay. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. It's moments like, God damn it. There we go. Get back up here, Mike. There's moments like this where I'm trying to recall the sense, the visceral sense that I have in moments of peace and moments of playback when I think of this podcast. That I don't need to speak as much as I do, or as fast as I do. There's always going to be a paradoxically synergistic and also tense tug-of-war-y vibe about this whole juxtaposition against, or rather between my sense of I want this podcast to be so good, and I'm watching myself and I want to improve it and hone my craft, with also the I want it to come out just the way that it wants to come out. They're not mutually exclusive, and they do feed each other. These two, axioms of podcasting. Any creative person has probably been mired in this discussion far longer than I have. Oh, while we're talking about really awesome covers, you thought you were going to get away without a Tool reference. Too bad. Welcome to my world. So in this one, Tool covers Led Zeppelin very well in the song No Quarter. No Quarter. A good song. Very good. Both versions. For different reasons. And a few similar ones too. There was a time when I was really clinging to the there's gotta be something for me in this world somewhere vibe. I found myself retreating to that corner and trying to stand up on two legs on that substrate so that I could then walk from an orientation of heartfulness to do things that were worth doing, to say the no's to the people, places, and things that might prohibit me from receiving and providing thousands of yeses in the future. Because I'm a yes man, I'm a let's go guy. Yeah. When I was in that place, it was a long period of time, mind you. It still winks at me from the past every now and again. It was quite sobering to listen to music that was asking of me something that I would eventually develop into. But at that point, didn't quite understand, yet it felt right. And that was tied into some of the lyrics that I can speak to you from No Quarter. And, you know, I'm thinking about doing a mini-series called Spincast, where all that we do is misuse the lyrics of various media for our own purposes. Completely malign the intentions of the folks who made the music. Or not, you just don't know. For me, the following lyrics were very helpful, sobering, and demanding of a resiliency that I was in the infancy of forging. I am now in the later infancy. Early adolescence is coming, I promise. Let's see what happens when my resiliency and the strength of my spirit reach pubescence and really come into their own. Man, that's going to be cool. We're getting there. Whew. Together, you and I, on the podcast. Can't just be me here doing this. Literally. I'm not alone in the world. So, this literally cannot be me alone doing a podcast. It's all of us. And all the things, including these beautiful little flowers. Hi. Hi. Goodbye. Okay, the lyrics are: close the door, put out the light. No one's coming home tonight. Snow falls hard, and don't you know? Oh, fuck. What was the thing? The wind or the winter, something like that. The wind is blowing cold. It's something like that. By the way, we're walking on the walk spot. My druidic sit spot. I haven't actually sat here in a while. Actually, not since I started the running podcast, that is. Not since I started talking to y'all. I never just stop here anymore. I compromise and I allow myself to slow down for whatever it is, the quarter mile. Anyway, those lyrics filled me with the need, with the thought that I need to take care of myself. I need to figure this out. It's like, I've always had this notion in my brain. Let's walk backwards for a sec. I've had this notion, let's not. I've had this notion in my brain of, oh boy, okay, the fire started, or the wolf is in the village, and the great warriors are not here. The moderate warriors are not here. The people who are doing okay are not here. And the building is still burning, and the people who remain are entirely at or below the level that I think that I'm at in terms of competency in life. Ability to take care of self. You know, your life coaches who are ahead of the game and seem to have their guff together. The people who exude that easy warmth that comes from an overflow that is just constantly uplinked to these people because they've just honed it, or they were born into it, or both. Your natural leaders, your developed leaders, your leaders, really. Because at some point, everybody's a leader. Because at some point, in some circumstance, sometime in life, nobody around you is going to know the thing better than you know it. And with me, well, the wolf is in the village, and all the sources that I turned to absolutely did not provide me what I was asking for from the outside. There was no way they could. After all, I'm insatiable. My demands are quite great because the life I want to live is great. It's wonderful. It's also just a little, human life, but still, it's both. So there's that, right? Wolf is in the village. Where's the heavyweight warrior with the shovel? Where is the esteemed archer who shot the wolf last season, and almost killed him. Certainly kept him out of the village for a year. Well, now the wolf is back. The archer's gone, or he got old, and the champion's not around because he has some flaw that I didn't know about last year, or whatever. All that's left is the women, the children, and the folks who are not come of age yet, or the folks who have come of age physically but haven't quite found their stride. They're languishing. They're not outreaching. They're not expanding. They're just kind of sequestered in these places, these perennial apprentices. That's kind of the level that I have associated myself with being for my entire adult life, really, except for very recently. At this point in time, using these words from that Tool song, I've noticed and I've thought and I've cogitated and I've really given the time to sit down and feel my way through what that's like. There is no one left to deal with this thing who can do it better than I can. So the only reason... So the only thing to do is to decide whether to cut and run and do my thing myself and leave the village to the wolves, which, depending on the village, that's the best thing. Depending on the village, they invited the damn wolf in. Now, I'm talking about village as in the same way that I talk about oceans. I'm in an ocean of air right now, standing on an ocean of ground, on top of an ocean of lava, on top of an ocean of semi-molten something or other that comprises the core of the planet, inside an ocean of space that overlaps all this. And they all interact in a way, some way. It's in that way. The village is you, the village is your people, the village is your job, the village is your everything, your entire life. The village is bigger than you, and the village is within you, and there are villages within those villages. Fractals. Now, I don't want to get off on an aggressive, wordy, trailing rant like I did in a frog-like, ribbity manner last time we spoke. Remember that? Feel it. I remember. Oh, God, I cringed so hard later. I reviewed the material, I was like, oh my God, it felt so right. I thought it was making so much sense. Motherfucker. I'm such a fool. But I put it up anyway because, God damn it, if I don't, who's going to do it? There's nobody left to fight the wolf, man. Not this wolf. Not the wolf of the podcast. Broadsword Billy is gone. Archer Angus is old and decrepit. He pulled a hammy. His bow is frayed. The string is frayed. The eye is cataracted. And we're down to me. Some villages you gotta cut and run from. Some you dance the dance of maybe. You circle the wolf, you circle the village with the wolf. You assess. You assess the situation like Dan Cook. Only this isn't a car entering our lane, although it is. The fire has claimed the champion. The wolves have come when the warriors were out, and all you got left is me. Oh, Jesus. And by you, I mean me. All that the vulnerable parts of myself have are me. A lot of assistance and a lot of support from other villages is wonderful, but they cannot be knocking bows on my behalf all the time. I've got to do it myself at some point and get better at it. And I don't want to run away from the village of my life. I decided that many times. I like this. I'm digging my heels in, which means me and this motherfucker are staring each other down. And I'm looking at all the lesser parts of myself trying to tell me, adopt this habit, take that compromise, do that thing, hide behind this callow hero and watch him get devoured. At least he'll maybe give the wolf something to chew on before he comes to you. You know, this metaphor gets really fuzzy really quick. Real quick. Let's go back the slightly more urban way. I haven't done that in a while. Yeah. Just a little bit more of the city on the way back. We won't hit the hill like we often do. Stop encroaching on my forearm. Ah! It's either wrap the cord around the forearm or allow it to jangle. And the jangle has this quality of whipping around the cord, which I don't like, because I've had this phone for a few years now. All the ports are a little crumbly. And I could do a few things. I could do like 1 or 2 moves right now. Like, I could take care of a couple of my car things. I can prepare a little bit for next month. Or a lot, which I've already done actually. Or I could take care of my phone and replace it and all the good things. Oh my God, stop. This wire. How can I... Oh. Thinky thoughts. Thinky thoughts. Hold up. Okay. Behind the shoulder. All right. Okay, wire is behind the shoulder, under the elbow. This is interesting. I'm sorry, over the shoulder, under the elbow. No jangle, no vine wrap. The wire is pressing against my Adam's apple a little bit. Let's see if I can't figure that out. I guess since this arm was already tucked in, maybe I'll tuck the wire into my armpit or something, I don't know. And just really get biological with y'all on the podcast. We like soup and stew in this podcast. Lord knows I make my own brine. And it's good. I was going to make a reference to split pea soup, but you know what? That metaphor from way back when, like 10 episodes ago, is cherubic. Well-intentioned and defenseless. I will leave it be. Bugs in the eyelashes. Wonder how often I run past this while talking. I seem to have alerted every dog in the neighborhood. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's quiet as a little baby's breath on this road. And then sometimes it's not. Like right now. Yesterday too. I seemed to be tail-winded by the wake of the barks of the damned. And I mean the damned. Dogs that were clearly not happy and not healthy. Yeah, whose owners? I mean, I wasn't seeing obvious abuses or anything, but anytime that I see a dog in a